People of different religions and cultures live side by side in almost every part of the world, and most of us have overlapping identities which can unite us in very different groups. We can love what we are without hating what and who we are not. We can thrive in our own tradition, even as we learn from others and come to respect their teachings. Kofi Annan. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis Timmons, and in an effort to explore a new culture separate from my own, this speech will discuss some behaviors, beliefs, and identities of the Mormon culture. This will be done by looking at a brief history of the culture in relation to Hofstede value orientations, its communication inside and outside of its community, and its family history. To begin to explore the Mormon culture, I will first be discussing some of its history. Getting a brief look into Mormon culture, we first start at where it was founded and what it grew into, and some practices and beliefs of the Mormon culture. According to Bushman, the religion of Mormonism was founded by Joseph Smith in upstate New York in 1820. Now it is known as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. History.com states that the Mormons view themselves as Christians and rely on the fundamental belief in modern prophets and continuing revelations. What sets them apart is their belief in God, Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit as three separate entities. Mormons embrace 4 different texts, including the Christian Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. Because Mormons believe in modern prophets, there is a hierarchy within the religion that directly influences Hofstede value orientations. When looking at the Mormon culture, we can clearly see their alignment in Hofstede value orientations and explain the reasoning behind them. Using Hofstede's model, the Mormon culture has a high power distance, strong uncertainty avoidance, value individualism and masculinity, have a short-term orientation, and are restrained. As mentioned earlier, Mormon culture has a high power difference because of the belief that all the priesthood is governed and chosen by God. No one goes against the priesthood or God's ruling. Mormon culture falls under masculinity because of their belief in God and strong moralistic attitudes about sexuality, such as sex only arising from a marriage between man and a woman, and they should work hard to build a family, and the belief that marriage is eternal and not even death can permanently separate them. These values correlate with the need for there to be strong communication inside and outside of their community. Communication is something that the Mormon culture practices daily, both within their community and through missionary services outside of their community. According to the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints website, both nonverbal and verbal communication should always be kind, compassionate, and helpful. They follow the ideals to treat everyone as family. To get this kind of response, communication is done face-to-face rather than via technology on most occasions. The main way Mormons communicate with those outside of their culture is through missionary work. King says in his journal entry that missionary work is accomplished when 2 people are sent to different countries to communicate and spread the gospel. Mormon missionary work makes up nearly 25% of all Christian missionary work. And while communicating with people out of their culture is constant and open, this puts a strain on their communication with one another inside their families, as up until 2019, they were only able to communicate with one another a few times a year via phone while on a missionary. Communication between families is very important to the Mormon culture, so there is an importance with family history when discussing intercultural communication. The final point I will be discussing is 2 important family histories, Freemasonry and the Mormon Trail. Many Mormons take pride in the ancestors that stood alongside Joseph Smith in the Masonry in Nauvoo. Many Mormons this is a fraternal organization that is dedicated to building projects. Davies describes in his book that the purpose of joining was to gain knowledge and to be of service. But after some skeptical critics and the murder of their leader, Masonry was left behind for the most part. Hill states in his timeline that there were 2 phases of the Mormon Trail. The first beginning with Joseph Smith leading them to Nauvoo, Illinois, and the second with Brigham Young leading them to Salt Lake City. Young led 500 Mormon wagons in March of 1846 and traveled across the Midwest to land in Salt Lake City on July 24, 1847. This is now the home site of the Mormon Church and its headquarters, and to this day, it's a state holiday celebrated by many in Utah. Learning, exploration, and discovery are the backbone of Mormon family history. That taught me through this speech that we can never settle for what we already know. In an effort to explore a different culture, this speech discussed some behaviors, beliefs, and identities of the Mormon culture. This was done by talking about the beginnings of the Mormon religion and a few of their beliefs, looking into the high power distance and masculinity values in accordance to the Hofstede value orientations, its kind and open communication across cultures, and the family histories of traveling and trying new things. Exploration requires both discovery and a want to learn. From this, understanding and respect of a different culture can occur, and communication can improve for all. Thank you.